Welcome to Here Comes the Boom, a KSR and KSR Plus recruiting podcast talking all things Kentucky basketball recruiting. I missed you guys last week. I was out of the country. Now we're back, so we got to catch up on everything we missed. Before we do that, go and subscribe to KSR Plus. Go and subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel. And let's get into it, talking about what we missed, because we really didn't miss that much. There really weren't a lot of commitments. There weren't really any commitments. And we had the USA camp, which KSR's Jack Pilgrim was at. You can go find all of his content on KSR. And we had a few new Kentucky offers. So let's talk about them, because we had Darren Rippy, we had Bryson Howard, and we had Caden Samuels all picking up Kentucky offers. Let's start with Darren Rippy, a 6'2" point guard out of Blair Academy, who has just been continually rising up the ranks. He is now the industry has him as the number 18th overall player. On3 has him as the number 17th overall player in the class, but I'm hearing people say he could climb into that top 10 rank. Kentucky's been on him for a while. Jason Hart has been leading the charge, but now he just earned that offer, and we could see him taking a visit down the road. Another school to watch with Darren Rippy is North Carolina. I'm hearing a lot of North Carolina buzz with him. They also offered recently, so Kentucky's in the mix there, but there are a lot of guards that they can go after. We'll get into that. But Darren Rippy, a new offer at a Blair Academy, the same high school as Otago, so one to watch. Next, we're going to talk about Bryson Howard, one of the biggest risers in the 2026 class. He played excellently at the Memphis Nike EYBL session last month. And no, actually, I'm sorry, that was in May, I believe. And now he's just continually rising up the ranks. He's number 102 in the On3 industry ranking, but On3 has him at number 34 overall. So you can just see that rise into top 40 status and potentially even getting into 5-star status if he continues this climb. 6'5" small forward out of Frisco, Texas. Alvin Brooks, Mikhail McLean have been leading the charge over there, and Kentucky has offered. He's the son of former NBA, I believe, All-Star Josh Howard, who played with the Dallas Mavericks. So he's got some NBA pedigree to him, and Kentucky's now in the mix. A lot of schools in the mix there. We'll see how heavily involved Kentucky is, but now they have an offer out to Bryson Howard. Last guy I want to talk about, Caden Samuels, 6'5" guard out of Maryland. KSR Plus. He talked to KSR Plus about a couple weeks ago. You can go check out that interview. That was when Kentucky was really starting to get involved, and now they've extended an offer. He is a top 15 player in the entire class, according to the On3 industry ranking. On3's lowest on him at 29 overall, but he could climb up in those rankings. Number 1 player in the state of Maryland. So really solid player. Texas is another school that's involved. UNC, UConn, NC State. So he's got a lot of big-time schools after him. Those are the new offers that we missed while I was out of town. And now let's talk about some of the latest buzz in 2026, because there's a lot of talk about the guards in 2026. That's who I want to focus on in this episode, because there are a lot of guards that Kentucky's going after. One that we have to talk about is Jason Crow Jr. There's a lot of talk about maybe a commitment coming sooner rather than later. We haven't confirmed that he set a date or anything like that, but there's some buzz picking up that a commitment could happen. When we talked to Jason, he was back in Memphis. He was talking about committing sometime maybe in the late fall. His dad was talking about committing sometime in the spring, but there is some belief that he could commit sometime this summer, although there are people that think that may be a little bit premature. He may be setting visits soon. He hasn't taken any official visits, so it's hard to say that he'll be committing very quickly, but that is something that's coming up, and it is something to watch for. So be on the lookout if there are any announcements from Crow in the next few days. Some other guys in this 2026, we have to talk about Tyron Stokes. There hasn't been a lot new with his recruitment, but he did take an official visit to Kentucky earlier this summer. He's visited Louisville before, took an official visit to Kansas. Those 3 schools continue to come up over and over again, and we'll have to see how this plays out if he ends up setting any more visits, but he's now playing with Team USA, so things are on pause while he's out of the country. A few other players, you have Christian Collins, hasn't set a visit yet. Continually rising in this class. Expect Kentucky to get a visit sometime down the road. Same thing with Jordan Smith, now number 4 in the class. Shooting guard who can also play the point. Duke's been heavily involved. Kentucky's in the mix. Arkansas, a lot of big schools involved there. And then you have a Ken Alozie who just included Kentucky among his finalists. It was, I believe, a top 8. So they're in the mix there. But you've got Alabama, Arizona, Gonzaga, Houston, Kansas, Louisville, Washington, a lot of schools going after Ikenna Alozie. So that's just kind of a roundup of some of the top guys in 2026, what we're hearing, and expect to hear a lot more in the next few days. My final thought today is the guard play in 2026 is deep. There's so many good guards in this class that if Tay Kinney ends up committing to Louisville, there's a lot of talk about things heating up with Tay Kinney in Louisville and maybe Kentucky not being in a great spot there. We'll see what happens because we saw what happened with Jasper Johnson last year. A lot of buzz for Alabama. Kentucky came in late. That could happen with Tay Kinney. If Kentucky misses out on Tay Kinney, they can pivot to a lot of the different guards that we've named here. If they miss out on another player, there's just so many good guards, and then they always have the advent of the transfer portal. So I wouldn't stress by any one player's announcement. Kentucky's going to take their time in finding the right guard play, and we'll have to see which ones they gain traction with over the next few weeks and months. Thanks for watching today. Be sure to go and subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel. Subscribe to KSR Plus. We're going to have tons of great content coming your way, and we'll see you again next